Good evening and welcome to Spotlight. A BBC investigation can reveal the first details of complaints about the conduct of the retired judge who chairs Plymouth University. Judge William Taylor is being accused of making female staff and students uncomfortable with his behaviour and language, both on campus and off. It's been an extraordinary summer for the university. In July, the chief executive, Wendy Purcell, was suspended for reasons not yet revealed. Then Judge Taylor stood aside when the university called in a barrister to investigate claims of sexual harassment that had been made against him by Wendy Purcell. He denies the allegations. Our correspondent Neil Gallagher reports.
We've been told Judge Taylor could be a serious embarrassment, even on grand occasions. At a London awards dinner in 2012, he was sitting by a Plymouth student representative in her early 20s. She took this very photo at the time. Across the table, Wendy Purcell. The young woman had her phone out as she and another guest chatted with Judge Taylor.
We were trying to show Bill how to send a tweet. As I went to unlock my phone, I had a picture of Alfie, my cat, on my screen, and he's like, "Oh, is that your cat?" And then Wendy said, "What are you three doing over there?"
Judge Taylor's reply, announced across the table, was a crude double entendre about what she had been showing him.
I was quite embarrassed, I suppose. I couldn't understand why someone would do that.
Here's another student representative in her early 20s who would cross paths with him.
He'd hold my hand when he spoke to me, and he'd always kiss me on both cheeks, which to me was completely inappropriate. I didn't let my friends do that. I did always find him really creepy.
The two women say the hand-holding could go on for minutes at a time while he was talking. 3 university staff remember a formal ceremony last December, on the fringes of which Judge Taylor made a joke about a sex act that might be performed on a male employee who was there at the time.
His actual behaviour in the way he goes about conducting himself in front of other people, particularly when it comes to references of a sexual nature, he doesn't seem to know any boundaries or how to behave appropriately.
One point made to us repeatedly is that people felt unable to challenge Judge Taylor as the head of a self-governing institution.
You have to imagine there's a guy there, stood wearing his Recorder of Plymouth robes, wearing his full wig and regalia, stood there, also as chair of the Board of Governors, and you're left in this position where you're thinking, this isn't somebody that I should challenge over what they just said.
It makes it very difficult to speak up and speak out about these things, because nobody wants to be a whistleblower, really. I think that's the problem.
Some felt his behaviour was a deliberate exercise of power. One of the young women describes hearing one of his anecdotes.
I felt more like he was trying to make me uncomfortable than trying to put me at ease by telling that story the way he told it. And he told it in a very sort of slow and drawn-out manner.
I think because we never said anything to him, he did think it was okay to behave like that. He thought they're okay with it because they're young and they don't... He knew his power over us, without a doubt.
Only one person agreed to have a camera in the room while she spoke to us, and even then insisted on anonymity. She's a staff member in her 50s who describes Judge Taylor in these terms.
A person who was very comfortable abusing his power, because he was very comfortable demeaning me. He was very comfortable making statements that were insinuating sexual commentary.
Some of these allegations are now being investigated by the barrister the university has called in. Lawyers for Judge Taylor said it wasn't appropriate to comment until that investigation is complete, but they did say the allegations will be robustly defended. It's not clear how long that will take. It's not clear how the case against Wendy Purcell will proceed, and nor is it clear when the university will begin a review of external governance that's been called for by the regulator, HEFQ. Little sign of any of this on the ground today as graduates celebrated their achievements while across the city it's Welcome Week. In the course of our inquiries, one woman who knows Judge Taylor through the university and his previous charity work spoke in support of him.
I've seen him at a number of social and charity events where alcohol has been available, and I've always found him to be totally appropriate. I would say he's quite patriarchal.
The sorry situation at the university was summed up by a satirical YouTube video last week as a uni shambles. The Times Higher Education was more sober, commenting that the degree of senior management turbulence seen at Plymouth is unusual for a major university. And that was 6 weeks ago, before anyone had even mentioned the words sexual harassment. Neil Gallagher, BBC Spotlight, Plymouth.